It's just different.
All right, welcome back to B.A.R Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne, and this is B.A.R Fitness, and I come on here to talk about my fitness journey, and that fitness journey is pretty much dictated by, encompassed by E2M. So, with that being said, I interview a lot of people, and a lot of the people come from E2M, and today I have on a brother that I met through E2M. I call him the ambassador, so I'm excited to have him on. My brother, Josh Wells, man. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thanks, Dwayne, for having me on the show.
Hey, bro, I had to. Like, when I started the whole interview thing, you were one of the folks that I knew I wanted to get on, man, because I remember when I first got in and started kind of peeping you and checking you out, I was like, yeah, I want to hear this story, man. So let's start there, man. Give us a little background of your fitness journey. And I always like to tell people to tell the story before E2M, and then we'll talk about E2M.
Yep. No, I really appreciate that. You know, I've always been fairly active. I spent a number of years in the Army National Guard, Army Reserves. So staying relatively fit and active was always sort of a part of my lifestyle. As I got a little bit older and started having kids, you get busy, life sort of, gets in the way. And so, sort of slipped into some older habits around, diet and exercise. And you think you're doing the best you can, but without, the right set of motivation and sort of, systems in place, it can get away from you. So, at one point I was up over 300 pounds. I could still I was training in different things and doing some different stuff. So I was still active.
Yeah.
But I was a big dude,
Yeah.
And then, I started the pandemic. I had, or just as the pandemic was getting going, I had a couple friends reach out who had participated in E2M early on. Jeff and I were at the same class at the Citadel. So we had a lot of mutual friends. And so at first I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's cool. And it just sort of went over your head. Like, oh, that looks cool. But then I had, the next round was coming up. I had a couple other friends reach out again. I was at a point in my life where, I was, single dad, had my kids every other week, pretty isolated, working from home, not a lot of interaction with coworkers, everything was sort of locked down. And so it was just sort of the right timing in my life to, I saw this as an opportunity to jump into something and give it a try. And,
nice.
After those first couple of weeks, we can certainly get into that. I immediately knew that this was going to be something that was life-changing for me. So
nice. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that point up, man, about, even when you were overweight, you still was, you was pretty active, agile, I always, I make that joke, man, before I found E2M, even though I was, bigger, I got up to 260, you still wasn't putting your hands on me. And, I could run pretty fast, with that side. So
I mean, I'd like to think that I was kind of like one of those, the football players that are huge and still have really fast speed, but
exactly.
I didn't have that kind of muscle mass, but yeah, that idea.
Exactly. No, that's cool, man. All right. So now you jumped in to E2M. And like you said, you felt like you was in the right place. It was the place for you. What was some of the factors that made you feel that way?
I think I've always been, I come from an engineering background, got into tech sales. I've always been somewhat sort of analytical and process driven. And so the fact that there was this sort of very simple structure, do these things, follow this general meal plan. It wasn't incredibly restrictive. There was some choice in there. So it didn't feel like, overly burdensome, but it was like, yeah, follow this system and just don't think about it. Just do it. So that certainly made it easy to jump right in. And, I'm a planner, so I like to think through things. So I had the workouts on my calendar and I was like, man, I'm just going to do exactly what this says. I'm not even going to ask any questions. So that definitely, the structure of it made it really made it really easy. I'll tell you what, man, the thing that sort of took it to the next level for me though, and has sustained my interest in the group, is just the energy of the people. I mean, this, E2M is probably, I was just telling somebody yesterday, I was like, it is the most positive place on the internet. It is just such, such an affirming, encouraging community of people. Everybody is there to support your success, regardless of where you at in your journey or how slow or fast your results are. And so, the structure of getting into that system and seeing results pretty quickly, and then the motivation that you draw on from all the people. I mean, it was just, there's nothing rocket science about it, but it's like all the right things just all together in a nice little package, and yeah, can't beat it.
Yeah, no, that totally agree, bro. Like that, like you said, everything that is there, we already knew. We already knew about intermittent fasting. We already knew, if you eat protein and veggie, we knew that. Yeah, we knew that stuff. But my nickname for Jeff on the podcast, man, is the Jizza or the Genius, because the way he's packaged this thing, man, it's like you said, it's the perfect combination to put all the things together, the structure, and it just leads to success, man. So, talking about the energy, man, and the community, you are contributed to that as well, man. Is that just naturally who you are, like kind of jump in and be, share, or did the group bring that out of you?
It's certainly like, I'm actually not a huge social media person. I was never like I would post like, vacation photos and that sort of thing. I have been always someone that's a very open communicator, but generally that open communication is reserved for like family, close friends, sort of people that are offline and near to me. With those groups of people, I've always been just sort of very transparent, very open, and so that has been my style, and I've just appreciated that over the years. I was sort of definitely not that way online. But again, I was like, hey, I'm just going to jump in. And I can remember my first week or two, I would post every day. I wouldn't share a whole lot. I would just be like, hey, I did the workout, I'm feeling good, post a sweaty selfie, that sort of thing. But then as you start to make friends and people start to, comment on things, and then, you start to open up a little bit more. And then I just found that the more I shared, the more positive impact it made. And so, over the course of those first few weeks of that first round, I think I just got to the point where I was like, I'm going to be appropriate, but at the same time, I'm going to be very transparent about what's going on, what I'm feeling. And I think that the response I got just was so encouraging that it's just, sort of sustained that through today. And I don't post quite as much as I did those first couple of rounds, but I still try to be very active. I really try to share my story. Just, if there's somebody out there that reads that and it resonates with them and it helps them, then, it's worth it.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Cause that's it's just an important part of it, man, is sharing. And I tell people like, E2M is just like somebody took a piece of my DNA and was like, here's a program, like the encouragement, the sharing. Like I love social media, like, this whole idea is like all me, like I'm right here where I'm supposed to be. So I definitely get that, man. So recently you celebrated going on I'll say an adventure. I'll let you get into it recently, and some beautiful pictures were taken. And so let's talk about that experience and then tie that into, how you got to that place, man, as far as with your fitness journey and E2M and what led to that.
Yeah, I actually back up just a little bit. Like when I was my time in the military, one of the things I always enjoyed was like ruck marches, sort of, on the ground, walking through the woods, those sorts of things. And so I didn't quite put it together that could be, a good sort of, way to do cardio. And so one of the things that when I got into E2M that I really sort of fell in love with again was hiking. And so that became like my primary cardio means just around here locally. I'd find places to just go and just hike for hours and carry weight and all that. So yeah, that sort of became, and then as I started to sort of expand beyond that, I said, well, we got a lot of beautiful trails here in North Carolina and they're not that far away. Why don't I try to go just experience, some of nature? And as I started to do that, it just became, like a primary hobby for me. It's just something that I really enjoy. I find it both sort of physically and mentally, just good for you. And so, yeah, this past weekend, I hadn't been out on like a weekend hiking trip since last October. And the last time I was on a solo trip like this was last July. So it had been a little while. I've been wanting to get out in the mountains. So I went out sort of towards the Asheville way, picked out a few different hikes. One was Bear Wallow Mountain near Lake Lure. I did a hike right near the Blue Ridge Parkway. And then another one in the area around Mount Mitchell, but not the peak itself. And, it just gives me the opportunity to spend several hours, quiet the mind. I'm someone that, this is always racing, and all the, electronic and non-electronic stimulus and kids and all that stuff. It just, it gets you spinning. And so to have, 3 or 4 hours where it's just quiet and you're just moving along, scenery is beautiful. There's just this tranquility about it, and it's a good workout. And so it just, for me, it's just all those things that I love about E2M just sort of packaged up in this activity. And so it's definitely something that, in the spring through fall, I definitely try to plan a few of those. I'm already trying to think about when I'm going to do the next one. But yeah, it's just been a terrific activity for me. And again, sort of an expression of what E2M has given me, because I can do these really challenging hikes and I enjoy them. And I have the strength and the endurance level to do basically whatever hike I want. And it's just really, encouraging to when you're out there feeling that.
I love it, man. I love it. That sounds like heaven to me, like a place you can go with no phones, and like I need to make that happen.
Don't even have signal. A lot of those hikes, man, you're just literally cut off, and it's amazing.
Listen, man, I gotta plan that, but like I need my wife and kids there, so I'll be paranoid, man. Like something's going on, I can't get to them. So we have to do a family hike.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's beautiful, bro. That is beautiful. I love that. Like I said, it really sounds like amazing. I remember a friend of mine took me trout fishing, and we made a turn to go towards the river, and all of a sudden I didn't have signal. And I immediately almost went into a panic attack, because I was like, I didn't tell my wife I wasn't going to have signal. Like, turn around, go back. Because we're so connected to devices and things, and that really sounds amazing. So I guess one more question before I do my closing question, because we try to keep these pretty short. So what inspired Short Friday? I'm just gonna come out of
I think it was that. So part of it was sort of the increasing bravery to post. And so, I think early on it was more about, hey, this is my fitness journey. And not that I was trying to be overly serious, but I was just trying to be very intimate and thoughtful about what I shared. And as I sort of got more comfortable with that, I was like, hey, we can really have a lot of fun with this too. And so I always tried to, post, just slightly funny things that I would ideas that would come up as I was out on a hike or doing a workout. And, I got in with some of the, we had some small group chats along the way where we did we would do workouts in costumes. And so there's lots of just fun things going on. And then I can remember at one point I just wore some shorts that were short, and someone sort of posting GIFs, he wears short shorts GIFs.
Right.
And I don't know, I think one day I just woke up and I was like, I should just make this a thing. And it was on a Friday, and I was doing my circuit, and I had that same pair of shorts on that people were sort of making fun of, but it was sort of in good fun. And yes, I was like, hey, let's do it. Short Shorts Friday. And then I posted, I said, every Friday from now on, I'm wearing short shorts, and I want everybody to do it too. Because I think, people, that's one of the areas that people tend to not, they're not comfortable with is their legs. They think, oh, they're too big or they're too small. But no, you're putting in the work, show off those quads and flash your little legs. So yeah, that's
guys out, thighs out, baby.
Yeah,
I love it, man. I love it. It's super fun. I get in trouble every now and again when I do it. Either
not too much trouble, I hope.
Yeah. They get me. So I I have some shorts that are legal, some shorts that are illegal. So I just kind of I bounce in between, man. But no, that's super fun, bro, and I appreciate that. Actually, I lied, man. I ain't gonna say a question, but I want to talk about one of the videos that just like it was like a punch in the gut, man. It was when you got on the scale. I guess it was after your first 8 weeks, man. That video, like we that needs to be like a Hallmark video of E2M. Like that is like our commercial. So real quick, I know it's it was a meaningful moment, man. Talk about that, and then we'll get out of here, man, because I can't leave without talking about that.
No, it's great. I'm glad you brought that up. It was a really special moment. I had been sort of taking my weight occasionally through that first 8 weeks, and then the last few weeks I stopped, and I was like, I'm just gonna bear down. I was doing like 2-a-days on workouts. I was eating minimal, like just the bare minimum on the meals. I was feeling great, so I knew that I was making a lot of progress. I sort of had an idea in my head of where I was going to end up. It was July 4th. I was getting ready to go on a weekend trip with my kids, and I was like, it was sort of very emotional, just like I'm finishing the round. I'm going to get to go celebrate. All right, let me, as a part of the contest, I was just going to film myself stepping on the scale. And I can still remember like stepping on and looking down and just being really shocked at the number that showed up. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And you've seen the video. I was totally overcome with emotion in that moment, and just, so grateful and so thankful for Jeff and all the rest of the coaches for everything they've done here. Because that, just like those first couple of weeks when I started to see changes, I was like, hey, this is really something. That was another one of those moments where I was like, my life is never going to be the same because of the program, but really because of the people in this program. And so, unforgettable moment for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, when I saw it, I was like, yo, this is the moment right here. Like, this is the Hallmark. This is the commercial. When E2M start the commercial, we're going to pull that video. So go ahead and get your copyrights and all that ready, because I see that coming, man, for real. So, well, listen, bro, first, thank you again for coming on the show, man. It's definitely a pleasure. I hate I won't see you this weekend. I heard you won't be able to make it. And it's going to be epic, but either way, I know if it was any other time, you'll be there, man. And I appreciate that about you as well. And so for anybody that's watching, that's outside of the E2M world, listening, watching, what would be your words to them that are thinking about joining the program? What would you say to them?
I think, you think something like this is really sort of like big and scary and it's going to be too much. And really it's all the little, we talked about this, all the little things that we know to do. It's just about living a healthy lifestyle. I mean, E2M fundamentally, it does certain things for you physically, but fundamentally it's about helping you live a healthy lifestyle. So if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, there's lots of ways to do that. Go find the way that works for you. But for a lot of people out there, E2M has been an overwhelming success. So I say it's not scary. Everyone in there is there to cheer you on. So you might as well give it a shot.
I love it, bro. Thank you again, man, for coming on. All right, to the B.A.R Fitness folks, listeners, thank you guys, and watchers for the YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning in to B.A.R Fitness TV. Make sure you check us out, man. We try to post an YouTube episode at least twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday. If you listen to the podcast, we try to post every day. It's not always a great interview like this, but it is a documentation of my fitness journey. Sometimes I'm driving to the gym. Sometimes I'm at the gym. Sometimes I'm at the gas station, but that's what it is. And we'd love for you to come along on the ride. And as we close out, make sure you remember 1 Timothy 4:8, physical fitness is great, but you have to also take care of that spiritual body. Till next time, you guys, God bless. Peace.
It's just different.